let's go ahead. Let's talk favorite mobility tips, or even just like your general thoughts on mobility in general. So,
Don't even do it. Not worth it.
not worth it. I agree. You ever seen the lion warm up before it takes down a gazelle?
Boom.
Boom.
That's why.
Yeah.
All right, so I want to define mobility first.
Okay,
So
cool.
I probably stole this from K-Star, but flexibility is being able to reach an end range of motion.
Okay.
Mobility is displaying strength at end range of motion.
Hmm. Okay. I
Or
like it.
control. You call it control, strength. So that's how I look at the difference between the two, because you can be mobile and not flexible, and you can be flexible and not mobile.
Right. I see. I see. Okay. So like having some sort of like functionality, or like you said,
Mhm.
control over those end ranges, being able to move through them.
The bottom of a squat, if you can get down there and you're slumped over, and as soon as you put any weight, things fall apart, you know, just because you can get there, I wouldn't put that in your active range,
Right.
because
Yeah.
you can't maintain proper mechanics. So you have to work on that to get there. And you can get there through better motor control. And sometimes you just need flexibility because your tissue cannot go any further.
Yes. Yep.
So there's no end all cure all solution here to why can you not get to the bottom of a squat, right?
Yeah.
It's a little bit different who you are.
Yeah. I agree with that. I mean, I don't have any. I never really, in my mind, tried hard to break down the difference between the two. So I just kind of went with it. So that sounds like a good one to me, honestly. I like that. I like that framework.
Yeah, I've seen just way too many dancers and gymnasts, former dancers and gymnasts who just collapse. They can't squat correctly or they can't hinge correctly, and I've seen them like put their leg all the way up over their head
Uh huh.
to the side, and it's just like that's crazy. It doesn't make any sense.
I like that. Okay, because when I think of like in my mind, when I think mobility, I get hung up on the flexibility part of it.
Hmm.
But I think it's definitely way more beneficial to think about like the motor control aspect of it, and like can you actually express any sort of functionality in those ranges? I think that makes sense too.
So I had foam rolling was on my list of stuff. I wanted to talk about plain stretching versus like a mobility increasing drill, like a PNF stretch. I don't know if you're familiar. I
Yeah.
think you are with
Well,
PNF.
PNF, yeah, I'm not sure what you meant by plane. If you just meant like
Oh,
regular.
like hold your stretch for 2 minutes kind of thing.
Gotcha. Okay.
Versus PNF is like an active contraction, and then you
Yeah.
relax, and then you
Yep.
repeat that contraction, right? And then I put light weights here because I think overloading some tissue can actually help you wake those muscles up.
Yes. Cool. I like all those. And I would say I have three little tips as well. One aligns with what you just said, the weights. So let's just start there.
Cool.
So I am a big believer in the fact that strength training, or if you just want to say functional weight lifting or whatever, your exercise can be a huge part, a huge factor in your mobility routine, your flexibility routine, whatever you want to call it,
Hmm.
because just by doing full range of motion exercises, take advantage of that right there.
Definitely do that.
So I am a huge fan, believer in full range of motion squats, deadlifts, presses, not just because some arbitrary standard, but because of the improvement in your mobility and your flexibility from doing them.
Yeah, if you put heavy weights on your back, you'll probably squat lower.
Yep. With better form, probably.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully. So I guess would you say that let's pick an upper body weightlifting mobility exercise? So like a bench press maybe, or an overhead press?
Yeah, I think an overhead press is definitely a good one. I'm trying to think of things that would, if you, those in my mind work, specifically the overhead press. If
Mhm.
you kind of already have the mobility, they can help you maintain it and improve upon it if you already have it to a certain point. But if you're like severely lacking it, you got to somehow get to a point where you can safely do the exercise.
A dip, maybe.
Dip. I was thinking a pull up, like a full range of motion pull up.
Hmm.
So that's the one I'm thinking.
Oh yeah, because like at the bottom, you're stretching out your lats, your biceps. Like there's a lot of stuff
Exactly.
going on there.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
So
then of
that's
course the squat.
squat. I think those two are two great ones to get. The pull up opens up your shoulders, which tend to be hunched, um, and that squat helps you get into a deep hip flexion that you don't really get anywhere else. Most of us. So,
Hmm.
so I like those.
Yeah, and then I would say a deadlift is more of a mobility exercise too, because it's not, you don't have to go down all the way, but slowly over time, you should be able to maintain, back extension. You should be able to maintain knee flexion slightly and know the difference between slight and maximal.
Yeah.
And you'll increase your hamstring length too.
Yeah.
One of my favorite exercises of all time is a Jefferson curl.
I like that one. That's a good one.
Yeah, if you don't know what a Jefferson curl is, Google it, but it's the worst deadlift you've ever done in your life. It's a straight leg, one vertebrae at a time extension from like completely flopped over. And I'll use it in my warm-ups, and I'll use a light kettlebell, maybe like 15, 20 pounds.
Yep.
And I'll just do 10 to 20 slow reps. And afterwards, my hamstrings open up so easy.
I like it. I don't do a ton, so maybe I'll start mixing that in. I will say, since we're talking about movements right now, so my other tip, straight from Kelly Starrett, is the 10-minute squat. 10 minutes.
Oh, you're brutal.
I love it. I've been doing it every day for like the past couple of months.
No way.
Yeah. And I like ever since not the very beginning of this quarantine, but like a month into the quarantine, I started doing it. And I love it. So it's as simple as you have to accumulate, so not necessarily straight through, but accumulate 10 minutes in a squat throughout the day. Now, you can certainly do it 10 minutes in a row for sure.
That's
And
what I was thinking.
no, that's what I do, and I think that's the intention is to do that.
Hmm.
But if you can't do that because you're just not there yet,
Hmm.
you can break it into 10 by 1 minute, and just
Sure.
do that over the course of 20 minutes or 30 minutes. Do that. So, but
Now, are you calling this an active squat hold?
no, and so I've all the stuff I've seen from Kelly Starrett. There's no like standard for this or no requirements other than just get in a squat. That's it. So it doesn't have to be pretty looking. You can be grabbing a pole. You can be back against the wall even.
I
Uh,
love the grabbing a pole or column for that.
that's usually where I go with.
Hmm.
But you can do back against the wall. I've even seen him do it where he says like, if for whatever reason your back is super lit up, you can raise your heels up,
Hmm.
heels off the ground and do it
Yeah.
that way. But it's just to expose your tissues to this range of motion. And the way he describes it, I like is he's saying you're just trying to tell your brain that we value this position, and so open it up, get used to it, and over time you see big improvements.
Yeah, I've watched probably a few hundred hours of K-Star, and I haven't heard him phrase it like that, and I do like that a lot. Teach your body this is valuable.
Yeah, he says like tell your brain that we value this position.